Hey, what's up, guys and gals? It's me, your old buddy, Mr. Moose, back with another edition of Air Hauler 2. Yeah, I know it's been a while since we've done it. It's been a couple of months, actually, since we've done any Air Hauler, and you guys have been asking me, when's the next one going to be? So I thought I would dust off the old yoke and jump in here and play a little bit. Just to bring you guys up to date on where we're at, and as you can see, it has been quite a while since we've done anything. The graph is mighty flat, but financially wise, we are doing really well. We are up to $2,178,665. We've done pretty darn good by ourselves. We have had to spend a little of money during the off time, though, because the one thing about Air Hauler is even when you're not playing, you are paying, because the clock is always ticking on you. If you've got any loans or if you've got any really high overhead, it can eat into your profits really quick. As you can see, we've been paying like August 30th. I wasn't flying during that time, but I was paying salaries to pilots. I was paying base rental for $13,000 for the base in Gulf Shores. I paid another $30,000 for the base rental in Houston. $13,000 for my AI pilot, who wasn't doing a whole lot of anything. So I did need to get him back to work. I did send him on a couple little flights here and there to make a little bit of money. I also did a flight for myself to make a little bit of money. Accumulated about $38,000, and well, really wasn't about $38,000. It was more around $17,000 because I did have some expenses on that. But that's been running. And then right now I've got a Sky Pigeon in the Cessna Grand Caravan, the 208B. I've got him positioning that over to South Houston, over to Hobby Airfield, to pick up some medical supplies, because there is a job in Houston right now at our base of operations at Hooks that is a mission. And if I bring it up real quick, that is not what I wanted to bring up. Come on, bring up Hooks. Thank you very much. The medical, there's a supply mission for medicines. It pays $414 per pound and up to 1,090 pounds. Medicine doesn't cost that much. If we go over here, and I took a little bit of time just searching around the area in Houston to find an airport that had medicine, and sure enough, there's two places that had them. George Bush had them right there just outside the airport, but the airplane's over here in West Houston. And here in South Houston at Hobby, the price on medicine is pretty cheap, actually. So if we go into commodities and look, medicine is only $153. So by the time we pick it up and fly it back up here, we'll be making about $270, $280 per pound on the load, and at over 1,000 pounds in the plane. It's just a big, huge gravy run. So I sent him down here to pick up this airplane. He's going to fly it over to Houston, and once he gets it there, I will buy out the medicine and have him fly that up here, complete that mission, and make a whole bunch of money for the company. Likewise, I'm going to do a little mission myself today to make a little bit of money. So we're going to switch over to Edwards, which is my base, Kilo Juliet Kilo Alpha, and we are going to look at the missions that are available here for me. And I was really interested in this courier mission, which wanted me to take 240 pounds of blood to a airfield at 3 AR8, and I had to do it within 142 minutes of takeoff, which didn't seem that bad. But then when I got to looking at it, it's the runway was a grass runway, and it was only 2,500 foot runway, and I just didn't want to do that, because in order to make it in that time frame, I was going to have to use one of my bigger airplanes, and it only paid like it pays $5,800, and in that time, instead, I can go grab Blu-ray players and and make a little bit more money doing that, because I can go over here and grab Blu-ray players, 1,227 pounds of Blu-ray players, and get $225 per pound for Blu-ray players. And that's like, after I buy them and everything, it's about 125 bucks that I'll have in profit, and I can just turn around and sell those and make about $150,000. So yeah, which one are you going to do? I think I'm going to go with the Blu-ray player. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to roll over and we're going to pick up some Blu-ray players and head on back to the airport and drop those off. So I looked around, and the various places that I can get Blu-ray players in my area, if I switch over to commodity stocks, there is a facility here inside Eglin Air Force Base that has Blu-ray players for $122. But you know, you're not going to be taking a private aircraft into Eglin Air Force Base, especially this isn't really a legitimate airport here. This is a test field. This is called Choctaw. It is it's one of their just test trips, so you're really not going to fly in there for it. So the closest place that I've got that I could pick up Blu-rays is over here in Crestview, Florida. And this is Sykes Airport here at Kilo Charlie Echo Whiskey. And it's not a little bad airport to fly into. So I think that's where we're going to go to today in order to pick up our Blu-ray. Again, I could take a shorter flight into Eglin and grab them right here, but it just isn't realistic. It's not something I would do in real life, because you'd have to get all the permissions and everything to fly into the Air Force Base. And yeah, that's easier said than done. So I'm going to go ahead and play it out for Crestview. So that's where we're going to head today. So we will go ahead and set that up. So we'll go into company information, and we'll go into fleet, and we will find our Chieftain, and we will position that aircraft. And as I said, that is Kilo Charlie Echo Whiskey, Sykes Airport. And yeah, that is not that far of a flight for us, so we should be able to get there pretty quick. So we'll go ahead and use selected on that. I did the wrong thing. I should be positioning that myself, not having an AI do it. So let me reset this up. There we go. For Sykes, use selected. There we go. All right, so we're going to be flying out. Estimated range with the fuel that we have on board right now is 402 nautical miles. We've only got to go about 66 nautical miles. So let's say 100 nautical miles of fuel with your overages and everything. You need about 100 nautical miles of fuel both ways. We'll stick with the 400 though, because it really doesn't matter to me. And that's good. So we should have 96.5 gallons of fuel on board. We don't need any more than that. So let's go ahead and hit OK. That will pop up for our flight plan. I'm not going to use this for the flight plan. So the only thing I will do is just flip this into VFR, because it is a beautiful day. We're just going to fly this VFR. We're going to be headed off to the east. So we'll set it up for 6,500 feet. We don't need to go way up in the air for this. So we'll set 6,500 feet, and yeah, we'll accept that route. And I will go ahead and meet you guys in the game once I get the flight plan all set up, and we'll do it. So I'll see you guys inside of Flight Sim. All right, guys, we are back at Jack Edwards Airfield here in beautiful Gulf Shores, Alabama. Kilo Juliet, Kilo Alpha. And as you can see, it is early in the morning. It's just after 6:30. Sun is starting to break over on the east, so we should have a nice sunrise flight as we head on out of here. We are taking out our Piper Chieftain today. If you guys haven't seen this aircraft, it is modeled by Alabio and distributed by Coronado, and it is absolute blast to fly, and a great little model of this particular aircraft, and I love flying it. So that's what we're going to be using today. So let's go ahead and jump on up on the interior of it and see what we got going on here. Good looking flight deck, and yeah, I am ready to get going. So let's go ahead and get rid of the yokes here, because I don't need those while we're doing all this stuff. I have gone ahead and set up the aircraft with the flight plan for today, as well as I have gone in and adjusted the fuel and the payload so that we only had the 96 pounds or 96 gallons of fuel, as well as the 190 pounds for the pilot. That's what I've got on the aircraft right now at this point. So we'll come over to the center console, and we're just going to go ahead and turn on our fuel selector so that we have fuel to the inside, and we'll go ahead and I guess the first thing I really should do is go ahead and check and make sure that my parking brake is set. So let's just do that. There we go. And we will go ahead and turn on a little bit of power here, and we'll verify that our landing gear is down. 3 greens is good. With that done, we can come back over to the center console, and with power on, I can go ahead and open up the engine cowling so that we have a little bit of air moving through the engine compartment as we do ground operations. With that said, and the fuel is open up, we'll come up here, test our annunciator up here just to make sure all the lights are working. That is good. And so we are good to go with our startup procedures. So if we come up to the overhead, we want to turn our beacon on so people know that we are getting ready to do procedures with this particular aircraft. All right. And we'll go ahead and set up to start our engines. I'll go ahead and advance the fuel on the right side. I tend to do right side engines first and then come to the left side engines. It's just the way I particularly do things. You can do it however you want to do it. But we'll go ahead and turn on our fuel pressure switch here for auxiliary fuel pump, and that will come up, and we're looking for fuel pressure here. Once we see that, we can come down here, close our throttle down, and we'll go ahead and turn that switch off. There we go. And we'll advance that throttle to a quarter, and that will go ahead and get a little fuel flow going. We'll turn our magnetos on for the right side engine. Open up our window here on the side. There we go. We'll yell clear prop right, and then we'll go ahead and start that right engine. Contact. And the engine is going to spool up. And we'll go ahead and check over on this side, and what we're looking at is this gauge, and we want to see that we have some oil pressure building up and a little bit of heat starting to come into that engine. And we'll let that just idle at ground idle, and we'll check that again in just a little bit. So we'll do the exact same procedure for the left side engine. Go ahead and pull that all the way up, turn that on, check our fuel pressure. We got fuel pressure. Go ahead and shut that down. Come up, turn that off, crack that throttle open again, come over here, turn our magnetos on for the left side engine, yell clear prop again, left side, and rotate that engine, and it is started up as well. With that running, we can close that up. Both engines are running. Let's go ahead and check over here, make sure again oil pressure is coming up. And then we got a little bit of heat starting to come into the engine. You see the oil temperature rising on the right side. We started it first. Left side is looking good. Looks good. Everything is looking good over on this side. All right, so let's come back to our cockpit here. We're idling at about 1,000 RPMs, just under 1,000 RPMs is where we want to be, so that's fine. We'll go ahead and turn on our avionics now at this point, and we'll start getting everything ready to go. Yeah, there we go. That's coming up. We'll go ahead and get our Garmin up and running, and we'll come over to our radio stack. We'll go ahead and get it fired up as well. Press any button to continue. Come on. There we go. And one thing I didn't do is I didn't get the ILS frequency for Crestview. So let's come in here, and we'll go over to trip, and I'll get the information for the airport. ILS is 11.9, so we can come over here and set that up real quick. 11.90. There we go. Set that up so we have that available for us when we get over there. All right. So other than that, I think everything is good. We'll come over here and do the same thing over on this side. Come over on this and say 11.9. 0. There's that. That's good. Change that over. And we should be good there. So, all right. Let's see. Let's exit out of that. Go back to our radar, which we're really not going to need, but we'll use it for the TCAS so that we can see other planes in our area. So that will be helpful. We are going to be flying VFR, not IFR this time. So that'll be good for us. And as I said, we're going to set up to go 6,500 on that flight over. So I do want to go ahead and jump up here, and I want to go ahead and turn on the autopilot system. So I've got that. We'll go to altitude, and we'll set our altitude for 6,500 feet. All right, come on up. There we go. And vertical speed, we're going to come up at about 800 to start with. So that'll be good. Actually, let's do it at 1,000. There we go. Set our vertical speed for 1,000 feet. And that should be that. So heading bug, we're going to start off out of the east, and then I'm going to come back to the north a little bit. I want to try to get around Pensacola, all these Bravo airspace and everything around here, around the airports. I'm just going to fly just to the north of those. So I changed my course up just a little bit so we could get around all of that stuff. So that's the reason I've got that flight plan that way. I will show you over here what our flight plan looks like. So if we go over here, flight plan. So we're leaving out of the airport. We're going to this intersection and then flying over to the airport. So yeah, pretty simple, right? All right. So at this point, heading bug, let's set our heading bug up for 44. Let's see. Let me zoom in here a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, 43. 43 will work. All right. Well, at this point, we're pretty much good. We are good to go. Let's bring this up. Turn to Edwards traffic. We can go ahead and get our automated weather. I've already checked it ahead of time, but we'll go ahead and get it. All right, go ahead and set our altimeter, and then we'll turn to local, and we'll go ahead and announce our intent. We're going to go down, and we're going to take off to the east. So we'll take runway 9 on that. So we will announce taxi. All right. So at this point, we're pretty much good. Want to turn on some lights, taxi lights, winglets, and we should be good to go. Start making our way out of here. Head up and go get some Blu-ray players. Just pull up those engines a little bit. Make our U-turn here. There we go. All right. We'll just sort of head on out here, grab this line, and we'll make our way over to the runway, and we'll take off to the east, head on out of town. Anyways, hope you guys are doing well. Hope everything is going well with you guys. I'm trying to get some videos out this week, as I told you guys yesterday. Been quite under the weather. I feel a lot better. I'm still having some little bouts here and there. We'll just see how it goes. They adjusted all my medications on Monday, and hopefully that's going to help out quite a bit with the problems that I've been having. So looking forward to getting back into the swing of things, but probably not going to do another live stream until Friday. And if all goes well, then we'll do one on Friday. But I've been really short on energy, so I've just been kind of hitting at videos whenever I have a chance to do one and I feel like doing it. And I've been sleeping a lot in the afternoons because I take some medication usually around 2:30, 3 o'clock, and I just zonk out. Unfortunately, I'm back on the medication that makes me drool like a dog, and it kind of stinks because you just, you know, what do? You want to be able to function, but you also don't want to be miserable from all the pain and everything. So alright, let's hold up short here on Niner real quick. We'll set our parking brake again. There we go. Parking brake is set. And then we'll go ahead and come up here and do our magneto run up and all that good stuff. So we'll go ahead and run up the engine here on the right side engine. We'll bring that up to about 2,000 RPM. We'll let it get up on the prop governor here. Let the turbo spool up. There we go. Alright, so we'll come up here and we'll do our little magneto check, looking for a drop. And again, as I said, this is formality because in this aircraft it really doesn't have it, but we do want to go ahead and feather our prop. Looking for that 500 drop on the prop. Let it regain itself back up to 2,000. Do it again. And third time we're going to leave it down and just make sure that it's feathering. And there it is. That's good. And we'll bring that engine back down to idle. We'll bring the main engine or the left side engine up. I don't know why I think it's a main engine. I guess because it's next to the pilot, but let that turbo kick over, bring us on up to 2,000 RPM. There we go. All right, and we'll go ahead and turn off that one. And this, I always hate this. It's just not in the right place there. There we go. Off and back on. There we go. And then we'll go ahead and feather the prop on this side. There's one. Let it regain. Two. Let it regain. And on the third one, we'll go ahead and let it feather. Good, good, good. All right, all looks good. Let's bring that back down. All right, so at this point, we want to go ahead and turn the anti-collision, turn the landing lights off. Taxi lights are off. We're good. Air conditioner is off. I don't have it on. I never really turn it on. I want to set my flaps for takeoff. Make sure that our trim is set. We might go ahead and wheel that up just a little bit. There's nobody in the aircraft. It's not really going to matter too much. And at this point, we can go ahead and announce our intent to take off. And we'll announce takeoff, departing north. All right, so with that done, let's go ahead and start rolling her on out here. And we will get ourselves centered up on the runway and we'll get airborne. Here we go. Come on around here just a little bit. And we'll go straighten up. There we go. Put those brakes on. Get everything. Oh, come on. These brakes are a little bit touchy. There we go. All right, full brakes. Let's go ahead and... Oh, that was a little herky-jerky there. Let's go ahead and bring the engine up. Spool it on up. Get good power. There we go. Let off. Here we go. All right, so we're basically looking to get up to 85. We'll start getting a little back pressure on the yoke. There we go. Airspeed's active. And we are up. Threshold is 100. Gear up. Good there. Yeah. Go ahead and bring our flaps back in. There we go. Nice. Looking good. All right, let's start making our turn. Gradual turn to the north. These are looking good. Watch our airspeed. We don't want to fall below a... I want to keep it up over about 110. Getting a little fast there. All right. Go ahead and bring up our autopilot. We'll go and click it on, set up our heading, and we should be in good shape. Take a look around, see what's going on outside the aircraft. A little hazy as we get going on the flight. It's a good looking morning. Alright, so let's go ahead and contact ATC and get our flight following done. Sherman departure. Request flight following. Alright, so acknowledge the swap. And it'll go ahead and put 0271 in the box. And set our altimeter. And we should be good. Acknowledge the radar contact. Alright, I want to juke the course just a little bit to the north. So we'll go into heading, and we'll pull that over just a little bit to the north so I clear all this airspace. Alright, I was hoping that being on VFR I wouldn't get all this handoff with ATC, but obviously they want to talk to me all day. I'm a popular guy. Alright, so once again, nothing's changed on our altimeter, but it never hurts to go ahead and smack it one time, you know, just to verify that you've got it right. Alright, take a look around, see what we got going on. You can see the sun starting to come up over there off of to the east, out over the ocean. It really is a beautiful sight when you see it in the mornings here. It is something to check out. We used to go down to the beach every morning and have coffee on the beach when I lived at the condo, and sit out there, read the newspaper, have a cup of coffee. It was really, really nice. All right, we pull back a little bit here. Passing 5,000 feet. We should level off here in just a bit. I'm going to bring that RPM back a little bit to about 2,400. And then I'm going to pull my manifold pressure back to 36. And that'll be good. And then we'll pull it all back down a little bit more once we get up to our cruising altitude. We won't be up here long though. It'll be a pretty short flight. All right. Start pulling my manifold pressure back just a little bit. All right. So I'm bringing the plane back on course, and I just wanted to give myself a little bit more leeway off the edge of that airport. You've got the Navy, and then you've got the Pensacola Regional Airport right there. So you've got both of those airspaces right together, and I just want to give myself a little bit of space so I didn't have to fly through those and do the whole request Bravo airspace and all that other stuff, or have to change altitudes and everything. Alright, so that's about it. We're up on cruising speed, and we're at the altitude that we're going to fly at 6,500. So again, I'm going to bring my alright, acknowledge that handoff. I pull that prop back just a little bit, not too much. We should be good. We're cruising along at about 150, 160 knots, so we're good. Contact the airport. So the altimeter came up just a hair, but that's nothing. But look how beautiful it is out here. I am running Active Sky Next for the weather, so this is the current weather. And all right, so we'll acknowledge that handoff. Doesn't matter how I fly, I get tossed around all the time. I have to constantly do all these little handoffs. I could fly without it, but I just tend to fly with it. One of these days I'll get gutsy enough to actually switch over to another to a different type of ATC and actually do it myself. But I don't know, I just like using it. I know some people just don't even turn it on at all, they just ignore it, but with air hauler, you really have to, especially like if you fly an IFR flight plan, you have to run the ATC and respond to it. Otherwise, if you miss reporting into them, you'll actually get penalized. So you want to make sure that you actually respond to them. All right, so we are up at cruising altitude. Everything looks good. We'll jump outside the plane. and give you guys a view overhead of what we're looking at. And basically I'll cut forward because there shouldn't be anything other than just sitting here in the aircraft, and I will cut back to you guys when we get over to Crestview and start our approach. So enjoy the flight. Alright guys, well, we are about 20 nautical miles out from our airport that we're going to. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start, go ahead and bringing ourselves down a little bit in elevation. So I'm going to go ahead and come to altitude, and I'm going to crank the altitude down to 2,000 feet because that is where we are going to need to be for our approach. As I check the approach plates, and 2,000 is what they recommend. So I'm going to go into our vertical, and I'm going to bring us down at about well, I can't do vertical speed out of here. I've got to do it out of the autopilot. So come into vertical speed, and we'll come down at about 700, 800 feet per minute. And to do that, I'm going to go ahead and back off of the engines a little bit so we don't overspeed, and we'll start bringing that down. And we'll go ahead and we will check the nearest airport, and we will look for Sykes and see if we are close to it. Let's see. I don't see it in the list yet. Oops, hit the wrong button there. Other thing I want to do is I want to come over to my radio stack, and I'm going to go ahead and come over here to procedures, select our approach. We're going to do ILS 17, so we'll go ahead and select that. And vectors, go ahead and do that. And we'll go ahead and load those in. So we'll have those now for us. And that will show up for us. And we can see the vectors for our approach for our ILS 17. And we're going to need to go ahead and turn north just a little bit. So we'll veer off of here. Alright, so we'll take that handoff. So we also need to go ahead and get our weather information for our approach. Alright, so I'm just coming in here to look, and weather is on 11927, so I'm going to dial that up on our radio here, switch that into our secondary comm, activate comm 2. Alright, so winds are calm, visibility's fine, we're good. Set our altimeter, and we'll start turning ourselves up to the north to go ahead and make our approach in on 17. And let's go ahead and find that airport. There it is. Alright, so let's go ahead and cancel our flight following. Alright, so nearest airport list. We'll go ahead and pull Sykes up, and we'll go ahead and turn to their traffic. Select the runway for landing, runway 17, announce our landing, announce position. Alright, so we need to turn and head north here so we can get on a good approach for 17. So we will head back up to the north. And we'll make our way in. That's about it. At this point, we'll just run up here. We'll get down to 2,000 feet. We need to be 1,600 when we actually get into the ILS and into the glide slope. But approach is at 2,000. So we'll go ahead and make our way around and go that way. Alright, go ahead and slow down a little bit more. We are booking right now. Not really overspeeding, but we're about 170 knots. Got a little wind there. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and bring that altitude down. Go ahead and bring that down to 1,600. There we go. That's good. A little hazy out here. Alright, start bringing ourselves around, and I'll go ahead and bring that vertical speed back down and decrease at another 800 feet. Alright, and then we'll go ahead and announce base. And we'll start making a nice, slow, gradual turn to come around and intercept. As we head out towards the airport here. Alright, we're down on elevation. I'm going to watch my airspeed a little bit right now. And as we get a little bit closer to the airport, I'll go ahead and put some flaps in and start getting ready for our approach. It should be a pretty easy landing. Not much traffic in the area. It's a relatively quiet airport. Let's make sure that we're locked onto our nav. Alright, switch over to nav, let that run. Here we go, 170. There we go. There's the airport right up ahead. Pull power back a little bit. Go ahead and put one range of flaps in. Alright, go ahead and announce final. Long final, but anyways. And we are on our approach. And we should be good to go at this point. We'll get her slowed down. I want to come in at about 90 knots. I'm going to go ahead and put my gear down. That'll slow me down a little bit more. And at this point, I'm just going to let the computer fly me in. Some folks had asked me to do an actual ILS landing because I hadn't done one in forever. So I'm just going to let the ILS take me in on this. And I'll just watch my speeds. Let the plane correct itself. And I'll control the throttle. When I see the glide slope pull in, I'll go ahead and put us into approach. Alright, so the little diamond is starting to fall. I'm watching this right here. The diamond's starting to fall, so I go ahead and put it into approach. And put a little bit more flaps in. And we'll bring her in. I see the poppy lights. We look good. Got a little bit of a tailwind. Let's see. Only a 2-knot wind off our rear quarter. We should be fine. Alright, one more little bit of flaps. That should start to bring us down in our speed a little bit more, and I'll start to bring the engine back a little bit. And we'll slow her up. I don't want to slow her up too much though. All right, we're down to about 95 now on our airspeed. We're looking good. There's 90. Anywhere between 85 and 90 is good. I don't want to get too low though. We are looking real good. Everything is lined up nicely. I'll pull a little bit more power out, just slowly rolling it out. When I get down to minimums, I'll go ahead and click the autopilot off, and I'll take her the rest of the way in manually. Airspeed's looking good. Everything looks good.
Minimums.
Alright, go ahead and take that autopilot off. And we'll just let her come on in. Alright. This is one of those planes you just kind of fly to the ground. When we get to the threshold, I'll go ahead and pull out the power to flight idle.
50, 40, 30,
and
20,
give a little flare. Oh, I flared a little too quick. That's alright. There we go. Got a nice smooth landing. Go back on our yoke. Help us slow down a little bit. Start giving a little brake here. And see if we can't make this turn in. Oh, a little much on that. Still working on getting this plane slowed up and woed up. If you go too heavy on the brakes, it just wants to dart one side or the other. So it's kind of aggressive on that. All right, we are good. All right, so at this point we just need to head on over to the ground facilities here. Hey, come on. And we will go ahead and pick up our load and we'll head back. Pretty simple. All right. So a little rusty on my flying. There's some things I could have done better, but at the end of the day, we got here. We got down on the ground. Nice smooth landing. Nobody got killed. Nobody got hurt. Again, there's some things I need to work on personally, but yeah, it's not bad at all. I'll take it. So this would technically be one of those turn and burn flights, you know, land, conduct business, and then we get going. But we're going to assume for our efforts that that we got to go somewhere and pick up our Blu-ray disc. They're not going to be right here at the airport. So I'm going to assume that I've got to go get those. So I'm going to pull up over here and we're going to park her, and then let's say we go to lunch we get the disc, we go to lunch, and then we come back. All right, where is the parking here? I'm going to assume it's right here in front of this building. So we'll go ahead and make our turn here, following the little yellow lines, and assume that this is going to be our parking spot. That's it. It'd be nice if we had a marshal out here telling us where to go, but we don't. But there's our yellow line, so we are good. Let's set our parking brake. All right, cool. All right, we never do run the air conditioner or anything, so I don't have to turn that off. I'll go ahead and turn my props all the way up, make sure those are down, and we'll shut down the right side engine, shut down the left side engine. There we go. That's all good. Go ahead and turn our magnetos off. Lights are off. There we go. Set our beacon off. All right, so that looks pretty good. Turn our avionics off. Probably should have opened the engine cowls up when we hit the ground. I don't think about that all the time. That's something I probably needed to do. I did think about it when we got in the air to actually turn them off. But we'll go ahead and set her up for cold and dark, because that's kind of the way we're going to see it when we get back to it. And that's it. We are in Crestview. We'll go ahead and jump into Air Hauler and get credit for the flight. And then in our next video, we will make our return flight back to Kilo Juliet Kilo Alpha, and we'll do that. So let me go ahead and jump out of here, and I will see you guys over in Air Hauler. All right, so we need to go ahead and finish our flight monitoring because we really haven't even purchased the things that we need. So we need to go ahead and do that. So we'll go ahead and hit OK, and we can just go ahead and look at what we did as far as our stats and everything, fuel. And then we can look at things like on our landing, we can see landing damage 0, surface damage 0. Our VSI was negative 124. Landing speed ended up being 70 knots. Our pitch was negative 3.9. Roll was 6/100ths. And the heading we had was 173. Wind speed 0, wind direction 5.9. So everything was good. Ended up with a smooth landing, and I'll take that, you know. You can't grease every single landing, and so as long as I never overspeed, G-forces, you see minimum G-force, I didn't exceed 0. Max G-force was 1.32, so never overspeed. So all that stuff is good, and all that stuff is what you want to worry about when you do it. So now that we're over here, we can go ahead and we can purchase what we need to purchase. So we go to the aircraft, we go to the Chieftain, which is here. Why does it keep putting it there when it's way over here? All right, so, and we're not even there. We're way up here. I forgot where we went to. All right, so we are here at Sykes. So if we go to the jobs map, jobs, commodities, Blu-ray players, and again, we needed 1,227 of those. We can verify that real quick by just jumping down here and looking at our mission. 1,227 is what we need to purchase. So come back up here, commodity stock, hit that, go to buy. We want 1,227 of these. There we go. And we'll go ahead and buy those for 153,375. So let's go ahead and buy it. How much were they per unit? 125. So we're only going to make about $100 profit on these, but still, that's good money. That'll pay our bills for the next couple of months. All right, so we purchased those. So those should automatically be on our aircraft. If we go to fleet and we go to the Chieftain, we should be able to go into load and unload cargo and see that we have the Blu-ray players already on board. So that's good stuff. So all we have to do now is fly back to Gulf Shores, and we'll do that in our next episode. I also want to go ahead real quick while we are here, and I want to jump over to our base over in Dallas and show you what's going on there. At this point, Sky Pigeon has made his way over here in our Grand Caravan, and he's ready to fulfill our mission for up here at David Hook's. So we'll go here, we'll check missions. Again, we need 1,090 pieces of medicine. So if we come down here, go to commodities and stock, we go to medicines, go to buy, we're going to buy 1,090 at $166,770. We'll go ahead and buy that. It'll put it straight in the Grand Caravan. So that's been taken care of. So at this point, if I go over here to fleet and I check the Grand Caravan, it should have 1,090 units of medicines in there. And we need to go ahead and make sure that it's got plenty of fuel to get over there. It does. And then we can go ahead and send it to Hooks, KDWH, which is Hooks in Houston. We use selected. And our AI pilot will go ahead and position that back to Houston, and we can fulfill that mission. So that's that. All right, guys. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Like I said, I'm a little rusty. So I probably did some things wrong. But like I said, I don't ever claim to be a pilot. I play this for fun. I do make mistakes sometimes. And, you know, but I have fun doing it. That's what matters when you're doing things like this, is you try to get it as close as possible. And you learn from your mistakes. So I will catch you in the next video, and we'll finish this up with our return flight back to Kilo Juliet Kilo Alpha. And until then, stay safe. I'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, I hope you consider giving it a like, maybe even sharing it with your friends. It does help me out a tremendous amount and is greatly appreciated. Also, leave some comments down below. That's really the only way I can gauge if you guys are enjoying what's being put out. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want daily notifications. I try to do a new video each and every day. Also, if you want to stay in touch with me and find out what's going on, our social links are down in the bottom left-hand corner. Twitter is where I usually announce schedule changes, live streams, and new video releases. Facebook's a great way to get in touch with me if you have any questions to ask. And of course, I am trying to get to 1,000 followers on Google+, which I know I'll probably be old and gray before that happens. But if you can jump over there and follow me, it would be super awesome. So if you like today's video, there's a whole lot more content on the channel. I hope you'll browse through it, find something to keep yourself entertained until the next video or live stream. Speaking of live streams, I try to do them nightly around 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Until the next time, thanks again for watching. See you soon.